This is an aura clearing reading for Listen with Your Heart, who had a name change to Embracing Change. So embrace that name change. Okay, so I have your questions here. Okay, so this is pretty simple. How do I get grounded? What's the best way? And what ungrounds you? And so I have my crystals here because when I do the aura clearing, I usually use crystals. And then I have a candle too, for some reason. A green one. So I'm going to go ahead and light this candle up. So that's obviously an earth energy that can be really grounding too, because it's nature, it has to do with nature, and probably still some heart chakra energy coming in. And then my others, I think I might have grabbed some of these during your last reading. I don't really recall exactly which ones I picked, but I think I might have grabbed some of these. I have here a pyramid, and I'm pretty sure this is amber, I think. Because I don't think I picked this out. I think maybe this was wolves or something. Not that I would necessarily remember what it was, even if I bought it, because you might have noticed I'm kind of bad about that. And then this is my picture, jasper. And this one I've always used to ground myself with. So these are all grounding. And obviously this one has a more masculine energy, which is more physical, more grounded. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and surround myself in positive energy. I definitely feel some added energy with this crystal as well. Okay, so I'm going to see you surrounded in positive energy now. Okay, your guide is already doing it. And the crystal is helping also. I need to pause here a second because I'm feeling some energies in like my own solar plexus and legs and feet, and I'm not sure if that's related to you or myself, so I'm just gonna ask about that really quick. Okay, yeah, I'm getting that I need to clear your legs and your feet. So this has something to do with path here somewhat. There's something that needs to clear there for something divine to come through. Okay, and that's why I have this one other crystal here too. Don't know what it's called. But it's a white stone, so this says something to me that is more peace. Okay, so like mental clarity, things like that. And then also obviously something from your guides coming down or something divine coming down. So a higher energy that wants to come down and ground. And this has to do with your path, is the feeling that they're giving me. So this is something that's going to come through your mind. And it's going to ground you because it's going to ground you in the sense that it has to do with your divine plan or your divine purpose. And almost that will kind of change things slightly. I don't feel that it will change things drastically in the way that you're doing things physically right now. So it's not necessarily like something will drastically come to an end. It's almost like this other thing will be almost added. Even like on the side. Like, I don't know if it's a hobby or something that you're already doing, but now almost you're doing your own creative thing with it, is what this feels like. And they're not really giving me suggestions as to what that is. Because I kind of had a thought of something that it might be, which was more kind of, I think, my own brain. And then right away they said, no, we're not going to give any suggestions. So you can, they can tell you what it is, or they can show you what it is. It's not going to be impossible for you to get on your own. So there's just no point in them saying to me what it is. Okay, so I'm going to focus on clearing your legs and your feet here, but I'm going to do this by focusing on my own legs and my own feet, because that's just how this works sometimes. Sometimes it's almost like I'm sort of mirroring the person, and I will feel energies where they are blocked, almost as if I'm blocked with them, even if I'm not actually experiencing that energetically. And sort of like I take it on temporarily to help the person remove it. So I think it's kind of an empathic thing. Okay, so I have the crystal down here at my feet. Okay, so this is just visualizing that I need to do here. So I'm going to visualize that this candle here is, the light is shooting down and it is clearing this blockage from your legs and your feet, and then anything, any added pictures that I'm seeing, I'm going to tell you what those are and what I'm getting as I'm clearing. Okay, the first thing is that first this light is shooting up to the heart chakra. And then it's actually using some of the heart chakra energy to go down and clear the feet. So again, this idea of listening with your heart. Some of this is going to come just from your own divine intuition. Your intuition is going to guide you as to what this is that they're referring to. And also clearing this. So one thing I'm getting is that some of this is going to come to you on your own. It's going to come to you yourself. I also feel energies in the whole body clearing and releasing, even though I'm focusing on only one part of the body. Now on the right side of the right leg, I see this, it's a thought form. It's taking on this kind of, looks like a lizard or something, almost like reptilian kind of shape. It's a small thought form though. It's not that large. It's just on this calf and on your going down into your feet. But I feel this is going up to the root chakra also, somewhat even up into the chakras and like the solar plexus. That's as high as it's going though. That's like the tail of it. But so this thought form is not that large, but they're still revealing it. And he is looking kind of, he has this suspicious look on his face, and he's kind of grabbing onto your leg and kind of peering out in front of it like this, like almost suspicious if something is going to come or something is going to happen. And then I was seeing this image of you kind of sticking your toe out a little bit. So not putting your full foot forward, kind of putting your toe out a little bit and testing the waters, so to speak. So this thought form, he doesn't jump into anything. He tests the waters. This came up a little bit in your last reading too. This feeling almost like of testing the waters. So I'm going to focus on clearing this thing out. I feel a lot of intense energy from this. I don't feel like it's an old thought form, but it almost feels like it is a fast evolving one. So this is something that you do a lot. You carry this energy around with you a lot. And towards others, you carry this energy. But your guides are coming in with it as a negative thing. Even in the first reading, it felt to me like a negative thing. And then in your email, when you wrote back, it almost seemed like it was serving you in some way now. So that was a little bit confusing for me. And I have to just go with what your guides are saying about it. I know that you have to go with your intuition ultimately. So if this serves you in some way now, it could mean that it's serving you for a time. I'm not really sure exactly. Maybe that's something that you need to discover or figure out. I'm just going to focus on clearing on clearing this, because the energy of it is really intense. So it's kind of almost hard to speak at the same time right now. And I feel this in the left leg too now. This holds you back when it comes to speaking. It holds you back when it comes to expressing. There are things that you don't say because of this thing. So even if in some ways this energy of kind of feeling things out or using your intuition, even if in reality it serves you, somehow it's also becoming negative. Because even though you are very intuitive, so you do have the ability to be intuitive about things. At the same time, it's almost in some ways become fear-based. And now you have this thing. And like I said, it's fast evolving. It doesn't feel that old, it feels young. But it's kind of bigger than it should be or would normally be for such a young thought form. It feels like a very recent lifetime, like probably even your last one, and more like the tail end of your last one. And then coming into this one, it started evolving more quickly. It doesn't feel like you've had this thing for even a few lifetimes. It feels relatively recent. So I have a female angel coming up now. So a guide coming up. Oh, okay. This is Peacemaker from the last one. Okay. So she looks very angelic in with her appearance. Her energy too is feeling angelic right now because it feels almost like a higher will. In the last one, it felt very, very nature. Right now, I feel like for the purpose of the clearing, it feels like more of like a divine will, divine authority kind of thing. So coming in with an energy that I would typically feel from like an angel. So it's not really saying what she is necessarily, it's more how she feels energetically for what she's doing. So more what she's being right now. I feel like for some reason you don't really want to let this thing go though. So I don't know if I'm going to stop talking for a minute. So the sentence that's coming to me that you should say is, I allow this thought form to release because it doesn't serve me. So this isn't about your intuition. It's almost about a false intuition that comes as well. But it's not a real intuition all the time. Sometimes it's like it fakes you out, where you're really feeling something fear-based. So there's something that you should do, but it gives you this feeling, which is a fear-based feeling of not to do something, or it gives you a reason why you shouldn't do something. And that can be kind of confusing. False intuitions can be confusing and even difficult to explain on my end because they're subtle. They really are subtle. It's like you have to figure them out. Because in some ways it could be a real intuition, but then there's this subtle vibration that lets you know that it isn't. But it's something that you have to become adept at feeling out. And also you have to be working to remove fear. Okay, so it's coming out of the solar plexus. There's this feeling like she's almost coaxing it. So even there, she's using some of her fairy energy, because there's this energy of kind of persuasion. She's trying to almost manipulate it a little bit, not in a negative way, um, because it's ultimately benefiting you. So it's the right thing to do, but it is like she is coaxing this thing to leave you, is what it feels like. And I get this feeling almost like she's going to kind of coax it away from you enough where she can almost grab it really tight, get like a firm grip on this thing and start to really pull it out. So she's kind of tricking this thing to get it to come out, because this thing doesn't serve you. So she doesn't have to be all love and light with this thing. I don't feel that from her at all. It feels like, get it to do what I want so that it stops affecting him. Because some thought forms are just purely negative, because they've been programmed negatively and they're very underdeveloped, and so they just have this negative consciousness, and that's it. They don't think beyond being negative. Now my feet are really starting to hurt, actually. I feel it more or less out of the solar plexus and coming to the root. So the root chakra. And I feel this like in my back also. So this energy is going to come down the legs, but especially this right leg. Even though it gives you a false intuition, it's about doing physical things, or things that you don't do, things that you don't act on, things that you don't say, or like quiet down. Okay. So second crystal. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take this one as well. Okay, so she has this thought form now. And there's this energy coming off of it. It's feeling very unnerved, because it was not expecting this. So really, she kind of did exactly what it was fearing. Because it's thinking, if I move, if I do something, something's going to happen to me. And so that's basically what it has attracted from your guide, because she has kind of coaxed it out and then grabbed it. So she's giving it exactly what it's expecting. And she's going to pull it out of you. Okay, so I'm going to let her do that. So I still have these two crystals here, the amber and the picture jasper. Which I just let drop a little, so it just made a sound. Okay, so for this reading, they're wanting me to use the fairy cards as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and get those. So I have my cards now. Okay, so I'm drawing the Piper. So I'm getting a couple of things from him, and both are things that they have been speaking about, so they're kind of just referring to them again. So one is this kind of tiptoeing thing, like they mentioned, and not just putting your full foot into the water, testing the waters, and then also your guide, Peacemaker, with this thought form, how she is like coaxing it out and then grabbing it. Because this fairy is a little bit manipulative, or he can be. He's the piper. So he's playing this song to kind of lure people out. So I'm going to ask what they have to say about that. Okay, well, one thing that I'm getting is that that's not always a negative thing. Like in New Age, you would think, oh, this is a negative thing, like this is purely a negative thing. But in a negative place, sometimes you have to come across in a way that is going to get you what you would like, or even where you would like. Sometimes you have to say the right thing, and it's feeling based. It's not fear based, and it's not like a trust issue, like if I don't say this, you're gonna react in this way that's bad. It's, I feel that if I say this, I will get a bad reaction. Whereas if I approach it in this other way, I'll get a different reaction. So they're just saying that it isn't always bad. It isn't always fear-based. So they're saying that you're learning to figure out subtle vibrations. Because like they said, when this intuition travels to you, when it's a pure intuition, it feels different than this thought form thing felt, or than the vibration which created this thought form felt like. So it feels different, but it's subtle. Okay, and that's the other thing from this card, because he's also subtle. He has a subtle energy about him, a subtle feeling that's right to do. So there's a subtle energy of what's right to do, is what they're saying. And there's a subtle energy of what's wrong to do. And it's not all logic, but they're also saying that sometimes logic helps. Sometimes that comes into play. Sometimes it's obvious. And sometimes you don't even really have to be that intuitive. Like if you get angry and bust a wall, someone will feel something negative about that. Some things, like she's saying, some displays of dominance or power plays are obviously going to get you a negative reaction. So it doesn't necessarily mean that she is referring to that, to this setup that you have at work. So this thing that you were referring to in the email. It's not necessarily about that. That could be serving you. If you feel like that's serving you, then that's probably your intuition. But there are some subtle ways where this is not helping you. It's not helping you get ahead. Or it's not helping people perceive you in a higher way. Because you're doing things fear-based versus going out and grabbing something. So I feel like this is where your intuition is going to come into play. You're going to have to ask to be given. She's saying to ask to make the energy of this feel bigger. For the distinction to be bigger, and then work on feeling it out in that way, in this new way where it comes to you, this new way where it's going to of how it's going to feel. So sometimes it's just about asking. Okay. Okay. So I'm pulling the Singer of Healing and this He of the Fiery Sword. And He of the Fiery Sword is a very masculine energy. It's a very, very male energy. And it's all about your will, your divine will, your power, your authority in a masculine way. So not power in a feminine way. And then this is more healing, obviously. This is more power in a feminine way or in a less obvious way, but still equally powerful, but less obvious. So it's about having a balance of these two energies. Oh, there's that balance coming up again. They're reminding me from the last reading. I'm remembering that. So this is more a left-right thing. You have a lot of feminine energy, though. Okay, so they want to come to the grounding question because, right, they're reminding me because in the last reading, it wasn't so much about a masculine, feminine thing, although with this intuition, it is about when it comes to this thought form and when do I put more out, when do I hold back more? That's a balance. They're saying that you still need to find, because they want you to be able to step into your place and step into your power fully and not mask yourself at all. At the same time, they want things to be harmonious for you. So it's about achieving that balance, which they're saying that you haven't really achieved all the way yet. Like maybe you think you have, but they're saying that you haven't. So I'm going to go with what they're saying on this because they're bringing it up again. Okay. But yeah, but in the reading though, they were saying in general, it's not about like a masculine feminine thing. You are very feminine and equally masculine, or pretty much. You might have slightly more feminine, I feel from you, but you have both. So you have mastered that balance to a high degree. So it's mostly this balance, the above and below balance. So that brings us to the grounding questions. And they're still clearing this thing. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab my pyramid now. Okay, one thing they're showing me. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. They're showing me a pyramid actually, which looks a bit bigger than this. The one that they're showing me. They're showing me one that is golden, is like a golden color. Oh my. And then they were showing me red, and I'm looking down at my cards. I had them flipped the other way, so the pictures are facing the top, and the one on the very bottom is Solace. And the reason that this is popping out to me, like I need to look at it, is because they're showing me all of these colors. So they're saying any of these colors would work, which actually this one has a lot of those colors in. So there, anything gold, red, yellow, orange, any of those four colors would work for this pyramid that they would want you to get. And they're saying to buy this pyramid, or if you have one at home, put your intention on it. If you don't have one at home and you buy it with the intention of, this is going to ground me physically but mentally. Because mentally and emotionally, this is where you become ungrounded. They're showing me this image where it's like there is this kind of monster, and it's like you are chasing it all day, but this is in your head. It's like there's something that you're trying to grab all day. You are following this thing around all day, and it's taking you in this little circle. Okay, so this isn't a monster. This is some other thought form that they are revealing. So it looks again like this kind of little kind of monster thing in your head, in your mind. And it's kind of leading you in these circles. So you think very fast paced. And you're not grounded at all when your mind is just going and going and going and going and going. That's when you're losing the groundedness. But here again, this idea of the subtle difference and feeling it out. Because your mind does think fast. Just like you're very intuitive in reality and you feel things out, but then you end up with this fear-based thing that's kind of overly feeling things out based on his fear, and then deciding this could lead to something bad. I'm not going to do that. It's kind of the same way. It's not as obvious exactly. One thing that they're saying that you can go with is because your mind does, like I said, think quickly, naturally. In reality, you do have quick thoughts. And they're also saying that you can manifest things quickly also. This gives you that ability as well, or could give you that ability as well. If that were developed significantly. If it were developed significantly enough, you would manifest things even a lot faster than you do right now. So it's part of your abilities to manifest and also just to think properly and function in the world in the way that you need to. So you have a quick mind, you have quick thoughts to begin with. So it's feeling out the difference of what is positive, what is beneficial in my thoughts, and what isn't serving me. So what they're saying is when you have these thoughts that are like really negative, and you're going in these circles, that's obviously when it's not serving you, when it's negative. So if you feel something negative, it's almost like that's going to block your desire to manifest when your mind is twirling around in circles about that all day. Okay, so this thought form that was down here at the feet, that is still down here at the feet, they almost have this thing all the way pulled out. This is just in the feet now. I'm feeling it only in the feet now. So it's mostly out. So she's taking this and she's just bringing this back to unconscious energy. She's saying, though, that your mind is still in a pattern. So it's like you need to work on this so you don't create another one. And some of this has to do with cords to your mother, like negative cords to your mother, that you need to break, that you need to visualize breaking. And this isn't about, I was even explaining this to someone else recently. It's not about, I don't like my mother or something, This isn't about a negative feeling about your mother. This is something that is actually harming the way that you and your mother operate. So this isn't like if you break a cord to this other person, it means almost like you break the relationship off. It actually means you work in an even more harmonious way with one another. But this fear-based thing starts with her. I feel your father too. But especially her. I just feel like with her, more things kind of rubbed off onto you than your dad, really. So just more things rubbed off from her energy, some negative things and some positive things. So it doesn't mean like she has a negative intention for you or something like that. It means she holds negativity like all of us do, like everyone here on earth does. And even out there, I mean, you know, we all have something that we're working through. It would just be boring if we didn't. So it's not about you. It's not about some negative intention towards you or something. It's just you were around her, you were raised by her. So these things kind of rubbed off on you or passed down to you. Some of this fear-based, like look out the door before stepping out, you know. Look both ways kind of energy. And then they're also saying, and obviously you want to look both ways. But that's out of logic. It's not out of this fear, you know. This, I should look both ways and then not move because something could come, even if I don't see anything, even if I don't see a car. I should stand here and not progress. And this has to do with your own ideas too. It has to do with your own individual expression, not so much a group thing. I feel more like you're operating well when it comes to a group setting. So this divine thing that wants to come through, it's not so much about the group thing. It's more about you. Something that you're going to get an inspiration for, or maybe even that you already have gotten an inspiration for, or that will come soon. But that's purely for yourself, something that you'll be drawn to putting out. Okay, so I have my white crystal here now. I'll just set these cards down here. So they want me to focus on clearing these higher chakras here, and I'm feeling specifically the throat. Okay, but I'm feeling this in the solar plexus when I come to the throat, because it's more of a feeling, like a fearful feeling that would block this from coming down. Okay, but quickly they want to recap on this groundedness thing. So they're saying this is mental and emotional. So it's when your thoughts are going wacko about something that's negative, especially if it's feeling based and you're feeling something. So this is an empathy thing too, like they were talking about in the last reading. But that's really all it is. That's all they're coming through with about that. It's purely a thought thing, thought swarming, and picking up on these negative emotions that also almost seem to give fire to these thoughts. So they kind of fuel them on. Okay, so with this fear, they're saying that you are pretty confident. So you might not be fully aware of what's there. So this is not a very surfaced thing. It's like a subconscious, it's on a subconscious level that interferes with things on a higher level that want to come down and be grounded. So meaning they want to come down and be implemented physically, where you are doing physical things with these ideas or inspirations or energies. And also I'm getting the word calling with this calling. So this isn't fully conscious. Yeah, they're reminding me, even in the first reading, there was this feeling of like you don't know exactly who you are. And that's why there was some energy with the feet, and not just the groundedness and bringing it physically through. That was part of it, bringing this divine physically through. Had to do also with this knowing who you are block. What was I going to say? But also this path thing, this little bit of path block that I was sensing. And it was slight too. It wasn't even that major. So this is kind of throwing you off. I don't sense really with you like a lot of really, really significant blocks, like really major ones, like I do with a good half of the people I read anyway. I'll sense like something major with them that feels more significant. So it's not like these are blocking you to like this really, really high degree where it would be extremely obvious to you. Like for some of my clients, obviously they're, a block that they have is like extremely in their face. It's very obvious. These are a little bit more subtle and they mask themselves. And so you have to uproot them by getting very, very clear on who you are. So again, they're showing me meditating. This is going to help you get your thoughts more focused, where you have like authority over them, where you have more control over them. You can tell them what to do. No, I don't want to think all this stuff right now. So it is about kind of gaining that power over your mind, over your mental body, and your mental output. Because it is an output, it is something that you're creating, so it's important to have that intact. And they're saying ready to go. Because you are very good at manifesting. And part of this is because you are pretty clear. You don't have a whole ton of blocks. Not only are they presenting it, they're sending me a feeling almost like this is like a gift that you have anyway, to be able to manifest something you desire well, or quickly, easily, comfortably even, they're giving the word. So it's not a struggle really for you. the energy that I'm getting is that a lot of times the things that you more struggle with, of course you have your own struggles, everyone does, but the things that you especially struggle with don't always come from you or necessarily come from you. They come from others and the energies around you affecting you and the energies that you pick up on since you are so empathic. So they're saying that that's something to be aware of and to okay, there's something releasing out of the throat. I don't remember what I was saying. There's some thought form that they're pulling up out of the throat. Okay, so they're reminding me now of what they were saying. So another thing for you to work on would be protection. And you can do this with meditation too. So in the same way that you're focusing on your pyramid and you're focusing on bringing a more focused, aligned energy to your thoughts, which is going to help to ground you ultimately, you can also be focusing, even with this same shape, this same pyramid shape and this same pyramid that you're holding even, you can visualize this shape around you. They're showing me you can visualize that a light is coming through at the top and it's going all the way through down to the ground. It's helping to ground you and shift you. And then it has 3 points. And I'm also getting that you need to call some people to stand at these 3 points. Because if you want to significantly protect yourself, bubbles don't always do it. It's important to call on a higher energy to almost keep your bubble intact, or keep this energy you are envisioning intact, because you want it to hold. You want it to hold together, and then you have more powerful energies standing around you that can deflect things back. So I don't know how, I don't know if you're into calling your guides very actively, but they want you to get even more active about doing that. So call on them all the time, call on them often. That's going to help to deflect some of these energies back away from you. Okay, so the feet are clear. They've pulled something out of the throat. And I feel like this, especially with the throat, this is going to keep happening. You can even go back into the reading again and clear out more from your throat by watching it. So they'll clear out something again from your throat if you were to do that. And obviously you can call on other entities as well and your guides, other beings to help clear your own throat, even without watching the reading. So it doesn't always have to be through this reading. You can just do it by laying, as you're going to sleep. When you're laying on your bed, you can be calling them and asking them to clear you while you're sleeping. So if you're napping, that's a great time for them to come and clear you. And even if you're not intending to fall asleep, you might end up taking a nap from the energies. Because I'm feeling like this might be a pretty heavy energy, especially at first, like an intense clearing that they will be coming in with when you're more actively pursuing that, when you're more actively asking for them to be doing that. Okay, so they're clapping. Okay, so that's good. They feel good about this reading. So thank you so much. Yeah, so that's all that's coming through. And thank you so much for once again allowing me to read you, embracing change. Thank you very much. I hope that this helps you to clear more of these thought forms and more of these energies away from you.